Mr. Goodman, how are you today?
King James, I'm well. How are you?
A little disturbed. That's why I'm calling you. I watched Mr. Hudson's report this morning,
Yeah,
and I have a couple of things I just have to get off my chest.
sure.
And the first thing is that my wife, God bless her, is South Korean. We've been married 14 years. She's now Canadian.
Hmm.
I have a wonderful situation that just happened. Her nephew is in my basement,
Oh,
enrolled in university.
wow.
Now, he just finished 28 months military compulsory service. Came out in February.
Compulsory? You mean in the Korean military or Canadian?
Korean. I should back
Korean.
up because my wife's Korean.
Uh-huh.
Her nephew is here. And 28 months compulsory service. Now,
Wow.
the reason he's here is because his mother called my wife and said, look, this is in March, can you get my son to come and finish his education here in Canada?
Hmm.
Because in the military where he served, she said, we're deeply, deeply concerned. And I'll back up a little bit. He was chosen to call Force Recon. He's proud of that, that little tattoo on his arm. And that's the equivalent. They're Marines. They're not Army. And they're the equivalent of your U.S. Navy SEALs. They're the best of the best.
Wow.
Okay? So you would never know it. The guy's just as quiet as a mouse. You would never know he's 6-degree taekwondo and he's like a fish in water. But anyway, we're deeply, deeply concerned about what happens in South Korea because we have family members there.
Right.
His mother called my wife and said, would you allow my only son to come and go to school here in Canada? And we said, sure. Basically, he came out of high school, took his first year of university, and then under compulsory, he had to go into his military. Again, they were selected, 1 in 12,000, into their Force Recon Marines.
Uh-huh.
Now, what their job is they're the first to fight, the tip of the spear, I think, is the motto loosely translated from
Right.
Korean to English.
Hmm.
But what they're deployed is they're deployed for suicide missions. What their job is, there's 38,000 artillery pieces sitting in the hills, and their job is to be deployed in before the war starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally at the same time, because they have to go in and take those out, and also they have to be valuable time. They have to blow bridges. They have to slow up the advance of the North Koreans
Wow.
because there's a numerical advantage, right?
Uh-huh.
Suicide missions. So his mother said, he's my only son. Please, would you? And of course, we'd love to take him. And he's been here, and every night they talk because of the time difference back and forth. Deeply concerned. His father is an Asian airline pilot, but 3 years ago, before that, he was a retired colonel flying F-15s in the Korean Air Force. And on his father's side, which I'm not close with, I believe his grandfather was a retired Korean general, so it's kind of in the family.
Right.
My main issue is father called him last night. Father probably talks to him once a week. His mother talks to him every day.
Mm-hmm.
Father said, yes, son, there was an H-bomb. You know that. It's done by the Russians and assisted by the Russians and the Chinese.
Wow.
Do not come home, because under the military, he can be called up even though he's a graduate. They can
Right.
just call him up, just like they can pull his father into military service.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I'm reading a lot of posts, and they're sitting here saying all this stuff, and I just want you to know, don't believe everything you hear on CNN, and don't believe everything you hear on the internet. I'm living with these people. And, of course, my wife is calling her family, and they're living it too.
Right.
But I don't know why I'm put in this position. I don't know. Just had to get that off my chest to let you know that this is real. And otherwise, I wouldn't have a wonderful tenant living in my basement.
Well, King James, there's been a controversial reaction to some of the information that Mr. Hudson was sharing. There's so many comments, and people saying it's disinfo. Mr. Hudson, of course, has his own perspective and his own opinions about things. He's not claiming to be unbiased necessarily, but I don't see how people can say it's disinfo or deep state info. He's talking about North Korea set off a hydrogen bomb. That seems to be factual. He's saying that North Korea is providing methamphetamine to its workers, possibly it's soldiers, various people there, and they're producing that drug for international sale. And certainly in my cursory examination of other news sources, that's been looked up. I mean, it's strange. Some people criticize Mr. Hudson for being basically just reporting open source information that's available everywhere. Other people criticize him for reporting incorrect or misleading information. But I don't know that anyone's presented a compelling argument to back up those statements. I mean, open source intelligence, well, of course. I mean, he or anyone would not ignore facts that are available to the general public. He includes those in his assessment of any situation. And as he pointed out, I mean, he's not going to go and reveal state secrets and all kinds of things like that. He's walking a tightrope of having to help us understand what, in his view, is the truth, based on, openly available things that have leaked, things that he's trying to draw people's attention to, etc. So where do you stand? How did you feel about the Hudson report on the North Korean hydrogen bomb?
Well, the first thing is I sold a house of mine to a gentleman who was CSIS, retired, and we remain friends. His comment was, he listens to it a little bit. He listens to a lot of things. His comment was that the man seems factual. Now, he said what his actual position would be, no one knows.
Right.
Because, quite frankly, the U.S. military and the deep state and your surveillance systems are so huge. He's never, and from what I listen to Mr. Hudson, he's never said, well, listen, I'm, the deputy section chief of Florida for the CIA, but I believe he's legitimate. Mm-hmm. But how do I know? It's one of those things you have no way. Mm-hmm. And but I certainly believe in the man.
Yeah.
Second thing is with your drug issue. I'll tell you this: you need to know the culture, and this is why I've been steeped in it. The Koreans have East medicine, and my father-in-law is actually a retired East medicine doctor, herbal medicine.
Right.
So when you guys get thinking about, they take drugs and all this, it's not far-fetched, because they are always brought up to the chi, the soul, the healing. They don't take medicine to cure the problem. They take medicine to prevent the problem.
Right. So
while you would call it meth, they could be prescribing it as, you take this and this will help you, and it balances your stress.
Right.
I know the Koreans, acupuncture is another thing.
Right.
Big in it. Well, you need to understand that in the Korean culture, that is accepted. So when he said the word meth, well, yeah, we get excited because you think, oh my gosh, but you go on the presumption that they know what they're taking.
Right.
If all the East medicine doctors over there prescribed this stuff and called it, I don't know, Goodman vitamins, they'll take it.
Right.
Okay? This thing about North Korea, and when we try to overlay our values on them, mm-hmm. You've got this idea that, well, the North Koreans, we just get rid of Kim Jong-un, and you know what? They're going to all magically hallelujah and sing, glory hallelujah and march into Seoul. Mm-hmm. No. All their life is all they know. They believe working 20 hours a day is what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And you only have to look history. I keep talking about. It's funny how my least important degree, I keep quoting it. Look what happened before the wall in East Germany. Look what the Soviet countries. They were happy because they didn't know any better. And that's the key, Jason, is that in North Korea, these people have lived, 4 generations under this dictatorship. It's all they know.
Right.
Okay? So when we automatically think that, hey, we're going to do this. So if you take out Kim Jong-un, all will happen, there'll be another military family will replace him.
Right.
That's all that's going to happen. Unless you put boots on the ground and do something about it. Now, I wanted to say that because I read a lot, and I keep hearing all the Western media say, well, we can only do this, we can only do this. The real problem is Bill Clinton and the previous Korean presidents, 3 back,
right,
did the sunshine policy, where they appeased them. They gave them everything they wanted, and it didn't help. And you keep talking about sanctions. How do you sanction somebody when his biggest crop is opium? You don't talk about that. So like how you can't sanction the guy into submission. It's just not going to work.
Right.
Anyway, I'm preaching too much. I'm sorry, my
No, I think everybody's interested to hear what you had to say. I mean, I'm certainly trying to explore more of the North Korean issues that arose under President Bill Clinton. And Madeleine Albright was, I remember she went over there and was watching like The Wizard of Oz or something with Kim Jong-il. And there was a lot of espionage and sale of state secrets to the Chinese under the Clinton presidency.
And so much so now, when they talked about like what Obama did, for the last 12 years, they've been selling military secrets to the Chinese, like your F-35 is, their J-79. I mean, like
J-31.
Copy for copy.
Yeah.
31, right. Okay, copy for copy.
Right.
And so you can only presume that this has been going on and on and on and on.
Right.
I'm sorry to say this, but, people come and complain and they say, well, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Well, I'm sorry it is happening. And, the war started, and I'm not a warmonger.
Right.
Listen, I want peace, but the war started. And we all have to be in this together. All I wanted to call for 5 minutes, and that's what happened. I get long-winded. My research for all my other stuff over here, the 3 or 4 things we're going to do, that was for another day.
Right.
This is just calling up to say, you know what? In my basement is flesh and blood.
Right.
Okay? And I lived this for 17 years really, but really 14 years I've lived this. Okay, and the Koreans and this whole situation, because they got family on the peninsula. If you think this is fake, okay? Under the Korean system, his father left his wife, his mother, okay? Mm-hmm. So the boy goes to live with his father, his sister goes to live with the mother. Mm-hmm. As soon as he graduated grade 12, as soon as he did, he kept visiting his mother, he went to live with his mother, which is strange. Okay, it doesn't usually happen. Took his first year university. Mm-hmm. And then he went into his military service. Now, of course, I rubbed him and said, well, if my father was a colonel and my grandfather was a general, they'd put me in the Navy SEALs too. Mm-hmm. He said, it doesn't work that way. You have to earn it. From all the reports I have from different Korean friends, he did earn it. But here's the point. Mm. His sister's still back home with his mother going to university. He calls her every day, his sister. Mm-hmm. And he said, here's what you're going to do. When I call you, you get in the car, you and Mom, and you drive 100 miles. I'm not going to say where. You get on the train, and you go to Jeju Island, which is the southern tip of Korea.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
You go clear to Jeju Island, you take the plane, and you fly to New Zealand to your Aunt Injong's.
Wow.
That's what you do, and do not go back. Now, she's got a bag packed in a car, okay, ready to go while she's over there. She's being trained as a dental hygienist, so she's got a 2-year, 3-year program. Uh-huh. So, and he talks to her every day. He's more worried about his sister than he is anybody else.
Right.
Now, I just want to let you know, I live it. If people think I'm full of shit, well, then so be it.
Right.
But I've been here for the last 2 weeks, and I posted and you've read my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm crazy, no question. But I'm not making this stuff up. So thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you, King James. I always appreciate speaking to you, and certainly we'll have another call real soon.
Yep, think so.
All right.
Have a good day, pal. And the last week, I must say, you've had a whole week of amazing interviews, and I've got to say thank you, my friend. Thank you for meeting with George and what you guys did. Really, really, really appreciate that, because that's magic. When you two guys get together, you guys can do some interesting things. And I've always told you that George is a very intelligent, unique human being. His mind fires like a Gatling gun. Mine goes like a shotgun. And it's amazing. Okay, but what you guys did is great. And then all the different interviews you had, Bex, Ortels, everybody. It's coming together, Jason. If you can bring enough people to come together and always maintain your integrity, and let's please, it's okay to be wrong. I get the feeling talking to my American friends, and I have a lot of them, and I respect you guys. We always have to be right. No, it's okay to get it wrong once in a while, as long as you admit it and fix the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day, my friend. Enjoy your Labor Day.
You too.
And
King
also,
James.
my prayers go out to the people from Louisiana and Texas and the hurricane. Look, Harvey, just you're in our prayers, and hang in there. And you, my friend, I guess you guys might be getting another one coming your way.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. I'm watching the weather reports.
The other thing is, my background is in food distribution. I told you that.
Yeah.
Okay? Into that we go before I went on to other things. Well, Hudson's absolutely right on that piece, and that's where you connect all the dots. That's what's really, unless you're in that business, the food distribution chain, America's not self-sufficient, and neither is Canada. Right now, I tell my friends here, we have 11 days of food supply.
Wow.
Okay, in Atlantic Canada, 11 days. So I said, good luck. Have a good day, my friend. Because what will happen, he's right when he says 30 days, but what happens is the people with money, they go and they hoard it.
Right.
And it takes 11 days for them to empty it all.
Right, right.
So, my friend, you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, King James. I'll speak to you soon.
Hope so. Bye-bye.
Take care.